Good day. I'm going to be discussing a little bit more about the essay that's due in the next couple of days. I want to review the sources that you need to use, how you can find those a little more easily. When you go to our home page, as is on the screen right now, you'll see to the left of the screen, you'll see library resources. Once you click on that, it'll open up our library and access the databases. You will have to log in at a separate time. Give it just a moment as this is trying to call this up. You'll see that there are a number of ways you have research databases here, but the easiest way is to start here with the EBSCO Discovery, this big blue button. And if I type in, for instance, and we're just going to go with the first topic, Black Death, and excuse me as I close out an image that has appeared, and I do that search, it's going to ask me to log in. This is the same login that you use for accessing Canvas, for accessing your email. It's the same one. And so you log in and give it a moment, and it will take you to the online library and sources. And here we go. Give it a moment. And you will see sources that appear regarding the Black Death. Now these sources involve a number of different areas. Again, it's still loading some, so bear with it. Just a little slow here with the internet tonight. There we go. If I limit it to full text, that means I will be able to have access to the actual articles or books, chapters of books, rather than just a summary of those. And so if I click on that, full text, it'll update it. You'll see now we're only down to a little less than 20,000, which, as you can recognize, there's quite a bit here. But what you want to look at, and again, just a moment, you'll see that there's a research starter. If you click on this, and we'll open this up very quickly, I hope. Normally this one opens a little more quickly. There we go. What this will do is offer you sort of a basic understanding of the Black Death, the plague. You'll see some of the details here that are offered, the causes of it, other aspects to it, the risk factors, symptoms, all of these details. Just a sort of a general understanding of what it's like. It's a generic, it doesn't go into the history of it, it just goes into some of the basic details. It's a place to start. But the reason I want to show you this one, it does give you some details, and right over here you will also see the citation tool. So if you click on that, and scroll down here to the one that says MLA, there is the actual citation that you can use. You can just copy, and I'll copy this. I will open up a Word document. You should see this on the screen also here in just a moment. And what I do is then I will paste it, merging formatting, and then what I will also do is right here under paragraph, you'll see that small arrow. I'll go over here to special, and I'll put hanging. And we want line spacing to be double, and you click OK, and there you go. You have your citation in the proper formatting. Now this breaks because it's all considered one word. It can't get everything on the same line, so that's why that's going to look this way. But this is what is called the hanging indentation. Then all I have to do is go up here and then center, type in the words works cited, and now any other source I put in here, I can do the same thing. I just copy, paste it, make sure it says hanging indentation, and then make sure they are alphabetized. So there's how you can start looking for sources. Now, let me close this part out and go back to some of the other sources that were part of this one. Again, This one that is listed here is the Black Death, and you'll see it's the same one here. This is an ebook, and it is really a full book. You can look at the table of contents, where in this one it talks about, again, I just clicked on it, so it will call up the appropriate aspect about the Black Death. Bear with us. It takes a little time for this to happen. Now you know why I did not include this part in the other video that I posted for you, and I have to have this as a separate video because of the trying to access the sources can be a very slow part of this. I didn't want to make the video say too long. Give it a moment. There you go. And you will see details about this one. And you can go on through here. And you'll notice here it's talking about in Arabia. That's one of the parts of the topic was about the Middle East. In Northern Africa, there's Egypt. So you don't spend as much time talking about Europe for this topic as you do for the other areas. And here it is about Central Asia, and China, south of India. So this one talks quite a bit about the area that you're looking, that you need to address with the topic. And then it does go into Europe here and offer some of the aspects of it. There were just general aspects of it. And so you have that one. And so this works well. And again, the citation is right here. So I just have to click Cite. Scroll down to find the MLA one. You'll see it says Philip Ziegler. So we want to copy it. I'll open up this one. Ziegler will go after Eckenrode. And so I paste it. And then want to mark this one. Go up here and make sure this gets done as hanging, and make sure this gets done right. So hold on. I will have, there we go. That's all it took. I just had to hit the backspace. And there you go. Again, you have your source done properly. You have the hanging indentation so that you don't have to worry about what information to include or anything like that. This will do it for you. And so once you go back here, you'll see there are other sources you can use and details to look at. Again, this one is another ebook. Again, you can click on this one up here at the top if you just want to look at that part. And it gives you a summary of what the book is like. You can look at some most relevant pages. And so again, something you can look at and review in that way. There are the other articles you can look at that are here, that are offered. You have some other aspects you can look at, how plagues change the world. And again, it talks in particular on certain pages about the Black Death. You have this aspect. This is a good article to look at because it talks about the Black Death on Iranian trade, the impact that it had on the Middle East, and the sense of the trade route and the trade economic impact of it with Europe. So you have some details here. And again, it gives you an abstract, a little summary of it. And to access the full article, you simply click on this part that says the PDF full text. And so you click here. Give it a moment. And again, this is an article that you'll see here. And you simply go through it this way, where it has quite a bit of information talking about like ports of China. It talks about the aspect of the Persian Gulf, as you can just sort of see some of these key points. And then here's a little table where it shows you some other information and details. And again, to cite this one, it is simply over here to one side. There it is. I clicked on this image right here, and then once again here is the citation. I'm going to copy this one, go to the Works Cited page I've started. It's going to go here because it's the writer. Last name begins with an F. And there we have it, all set up. And so you have the details. So that's how that can look. And so this is how you can find sources using the EBSCO. And again, if you're looking for something other than Black Death, you may be using one of the other topics. Let me go back here. We'll do basic search again. I'll enter keyword. Let's go with the Medici family. And you go to the Medici family history, the De Medicis, and search any moment now. Again, bear with it's a little slow at times, but that's okay. We can handle this. Move that over just a little bit. There you go. And so you have the Family Medici. This is a book, again, and what we want to make sure we've done is that we've clicked on full text. I'm trying to get this to clear out so I can get this taken care of. There we go, full text. And you'll see that this comes up basically twice. This is a book review that's offered. And what we really do not want the review is not something that you really want. It didn't have much information, but when it talks about the Florentine family feuds, it has some details there. You have other aspects here. This one talks about the Medici rise again. That's actually an interesting article to look at. The House of Medici is another one to look at, and you'll notice it mentions Cosimo and Lorenzo, but it will also go on beyond those. Remember, you're supposed to be looking at information after 1492, and so if you want to, you can type in particular ones. Let me go up here with advanced search. And again, bear with us, just trying to get this in. And we want to go with Catherine. Oops. Went to the wrong place. I need to put it down here. I want to get rid of the word history. That may help a little bit. And then I want to put Catherine. And Catherine de Medici. And we will search. Bear with us just a moment. And you'll have the Italian family again from the encyclopedia here, the Columbia Electronic one. It talks about their family. You have some other key aspects here, such as Henry II of France, and you'll see Catherine de Medici. This is an article over, let me go back to full text so we can get those taken care of, because there's a couple things that are not what we need. I noticed those, so we want these. Bear with it. Still trying to call some stuff up. But you'll see Catherine de Medici married Henry II, who was the king of France at the time in the early 1500s, and she was the Queen of France. A very important individual figure, and so you can find information about that. So if we click here on her, excuse me there, you'll find quite a bit of information on Catherine. And here's an abstract, which an abstract is simply a summary of it. And so this talks a little bit about that. And then here's the actual article. You give some background about her, the idea about the influence she had, the influence of the Medicis then on across Europe, and the idea about as the Medicis start having the issues with the family. You'll see some other ones about Marie and some other ones along those lines. And so you have articles like this that you can locate. And so using the EBSCO, bear with us, ask to resubmit. There we go. When you go to, I'm going to go back here. I'm trying to go back to our original. There we go. Okay. Let me clear that out. There. So when you go to the EBSCO and you look here, that's one way of looking at it. You can also go to the research databases here and find some details. For instance, you have about health source, you have the medicine source, and those are good to look at as well. If you're looking at the Venetian School of Music, for instance, and we do that search here, since I've already logged in, I don't have to log in again. But this is some details here. You look at this one, and again, you want to go with full text. And bear with us, it can be a little slow at times. What you want to make sure that doing, the reason you want to use our library resources in this way is that these give us credible academic style sources. As I put in the email that I sent to you, you want to avoid most of the .coms. You want to avoid especially such online sites as Wikipedia. You do not want to go to somebody's blog that's simply a web diary or log that's placed up there. Those are not considered academically appropriate for research. Rather, you want to make sure that you're using the kind of sources that should be used for academic writing. And by using the library resources, as I've been showing you, that will give you access into such articles that you need to look at. And so you have, as it says here, the choir boy instrumentalists. This is a key aspect here. Here is Gabrielli. If you'll notice, he was mentioned in the topic. And so you can click on Giovanni Gabrielli. And this takes you to details about this particular composer, and here's the details about him. His early life, his life work, the Venetian music aspect, Venetian music, the details here. You know, it says, talks about several other ones, and it with the naming of it, like Willard, as well as of Gagliardi, you can use those and do searches for those as well. And so you have, as it says here, Giovanni Gabrielli. You can take that and just look more about him. You can look at figures such as Frescobaldi, again, a figure that you can look at. And so this gives you quite a bit of information if you're interested in the music that was being developed in Venice during the 16th, 17th century time. So again, this is how you can find your sources. So when you go to the home page, Library Resources, use the EBSCO button to search. You can also use some of these databases as well. They're not quite as specific for what we're looking at. They're a little more refined to areas that are a little different. But the medicine one probably would help you if you're looking at topic number 1. But you can look at those. And so again, you just do the search here with the EBSCO button. Click on full text. Again, I'll go back here so you can see this one. You can click on full text. You can adjust the date if you want something a little more recent. Rather than go back to 1942, I can move that up to here, and it would move the articles to just the ones in that time frame. I can refine it even further if I need to. And so if I want to put Giovanni Gabrielli and just do a search for him, I go to basic search. I may have to do it the other way around. They don't always do it with the last name and then first. But we'll see what happens this way. You can give it just a little bit of time. There, it's trying to search. Oh, here we go. So it did show up this way. So there's the one. You got the New World here. You've got this article here. Again, if I do full text, it'll eliminate a couple of these. And so you have some aspects here about the relevance of compositional technique. Now, if I change this around the other way, and I type it this way, we may get slightly different results. So Giovanni Gabriele, yeah, there's a few more this way. They sometimes do not recognize, they do a literal first last name rather than last name first. But you'll see here that this is again that research starter. So if you click here on Gabriele, it'll go into some details that we already looked at. This is the same article, if I'm not mistaken, that I just showed you. Bear with it just a moment. Again, it takes a little time to call up. There we go. Again, early life, work, influence. This is one we looked at. Again, the citation is right here. I simply have to scroll down to MLA. And I know this one doesn't have anything to do with our previous one, but I'll just show you how it would look. It'll go in here because, of course, this is Gardner. There we go. So you have the works cited page. This is how it should look. First line of an entry goes against the left margin. Subsequent lines are tabbed over, and if you just do the hanging indent by simply going up here and doing your setting and changing that to special to hanging, it'll do that for your entries, and you won't have any problems. The articles are all available. Let me close this out. You have a number of different articles here. As I said, just for Gabriele, you have 300. This is one about the relevance of compositional technique that he did. This is talking about the Venetian music schools. You have the idea of historical brass techniques, going back to Gabriele's music, his influence there. If your Italian is good, you can read this article. You have Andrea Gabriele, who, of course, is part of this. You have the idea of Heinrich Schultz, who's also involved in this area. And so you have a number of different details here that you can look at. The music of the Venetian High Renaissance. Here is the full text. It's actually a review of a book that's entitled this one, but this does have, if I remember correctly, this article has a couple of comments that you can employ. Okay, we'll proceed. Again, give it a moment or two. There we go. Okay, this is supposed to show up. For some reason, this particular article does not seem to be coming in. It's supposed to appear right here. I'm not sure why it's not. Anyway, this is not coming up, so I'm sorry, but it's still trying to call it up. This is taking a little long, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. But again, this is how you find your sources. Go to our library resources, use the EBSCO button, search through there, then go with those sources. And again, citations, you simply have to copy them, use the paragraph settings here where you want to change the hanging, and it'll take care of all that as well. And so this is how you want to set everything up for your research, where you can have your sources in the proper alphabetical order and proper format. You can find your sources in as they need to be by going through here, and that way you won't have to worry about if you're using the appropriate kind of sources or not, because these are academically certified and authenticated sources. So this is what you want to be doing. Again, you have a couple more days to be working on your paper. You have through Friday evening. So I am looking forward to reading these. Again, if you have any questions, please make sure to email me, and I will get this posted very shortly.